Might want to go ahead and take your spark plug out. Actually, before you even get to this point, I would recommend that once you have the black top cover off, that you go ahead and do this. Take the black cover off, and then you take and remove the spark plug wire elbow right there in the wire off of the spark plug. Remove the spark plug. It's either going to be a 5/16 or around a 13/16 to get that plug out, whichever one socket works. Then you take your plug out, plug it back into the elbow, and then rest your spark plug right up against the hole there so you can see that little gap in the spark plug electrode, and pull your starter rope a few times just to make sure that indeed you do have an ignition problem. Okay, so this is actually going in part of the troubleshooting, but just a little tip before you go through all of this work of replacing the ignition coil. All right, today we're going to show how to take off the coil and install a new coil on this Poulan Pro 4218 chainsaw. As we can see here in this image, we have the top black cover and the yellow side cover. There are 4 bolts on the top. Just a flathead screwdriver will get those 4 bolts, and they go down in those little holes right there. Then you got to pull that off first, and as you're doing that, you're going to push that blade brake forward so it gives you room to pull that black cover off. Then once you get that off, you can go on down to the side and take this yellow cover off, and then you'll have access to the coil is on the forward part of the engine on the pull start side, and it's got 2 mounting bolts. You see one here in the image and the other one's right across from it, and just a flathead screwdriver will be good enough to take those off. Now before you do, as you're taking it off, before you loosen up those 2 mounting bolts for the coil, go ahead and remove this grounding wire, this blade connector right here, that little yellow wire you can see there, from the coil, and just pull it off. Needle nose pliers, use your fingers if you can at first. If it'll come off that easy, it should, and just pop that off, and then go ahead and remove your 2 mounting screws and set those to the side. Then you'll have your new coil. You can see down in the description, I will leave you a link for the Amazon version, and then there's one from Poulan. I should have 2 links down there for you. You can choose which one you want to order from. Just to help you out there, I've already looked it up. So then once you get the new coil on there, put your mounting bolts back on, and you'll have it back in place. You want to make sure that your magnet, put the 2 bolts on and get them like kind of finger tight, just tight enough. And of course, put your grounding wire back on there. Anyway, get your mounting bolts just tight enough so that you can slide it back and forth a little bit. And then you slide it all the way back away from the flywheel. All right, then tighten them up, retighten them, pretty finger tight so it stays in place. Then you want to rotate your flywheel until your magnets are just about lined up with the coil air gap area there. There's that curved surface on the coil, and this is what creates the impulse current, whatever, as the flywheel spins, and it works off those magnets right there. Now what I like to do is get a business card and slide it right down in there between the curved surface of the coil and the curved surface of the magnet, and I like to turn the flywheel so that it's really not in line exactly with the coil curved surfaces, and then get your business card down in there first and rotate that flywheel until the card is then just smashed in between the flywheel magnets and the coil, and then loosen up your mounting bolts and slide the coil up against the flywheel so only the business card is now in between the flywheel and the coil, and it should be sticking to it. So both of the curved surfaces on the coil should be sticking to the flywheel at that point. And this is the position basically that you're seeing right now that the flywheel will be in relation to the coil. All right? So once you get that, up against there and it's stuck to the flywheel, then you want to go ahead and tighten your two mounting bolts down really good and tight. Do not over tighten them. And then as you're holding your business card, go ahead and rotate your flywheel to the right and that, or to the left, whatever. But you want to grab your business card as you're rotating it to help slide it out of that gap. And then rotate your flywheel around a few times to make sure that it is free to turn and good to go. All right, so once you put your side cover back on, you might want to go ahead and take your spark plug out. Then you take your plug out, plug it back into the elbow, and then rest your spark plug right up against the hole there so you can see that little gap in the spark plug electrode, and pull your starter rope a few times just to make sure. So I hope that helps out, and you just put everything back together, and you should have spark, and hopefully everything else is okay, and it runs good for you. So good luck to you. If you like this kind of information, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Leave any comments if this helped you out or what else you would like to see. Thanks.